welcome to another episode of Direct to Review, your favorite podcast about all things streaming. Although we're not talking about a streaming movie this week.
No, we're breaking our own rules.
Rules are made to be broken.
This is yet another DTR special. Well, mainly because
every episode's so special.
It's so special, but we also have fallen in love with Bollywood, and there's not that much out there on. Well, there is a decent amount on Netflix, but you tend to get the same plot point in every single one. So we decided to jump outside the norm with a Disney movie.
Disney India.
Yeah. So Jagga, Jasoos.
Came out on July 14, 2017. It's relatively new.
It is. Wasn't supposed to come out at that time, but here it is.
Development hell for like 3 years.
Yeah, which happens, especially when your lead character makes a crap ton of money and wants to spend it all at one time.
Well, I ended up into the like weird like back pages of all these like Indian actors and like the I don't know if I was like in the pop magazine of Bollywood actresses and actors, because like I was like in this backstory of like that the main actress in this one is
it is
Katrina Kaif. She's not even born in India. She was born in like France, but she had a boyfriend and she cheated on her boyfriend with the actor that plays Jagga,
Ranbir Kapoor,
and he had like a girlfriend.
Yeah,
and then they like separated. Oh my God,
there was a lot. A particular thing that caused a problem was actually in Cape Town, South Africa. They were getting into so many fights that the movie was being impacted. They were having to pause or stop or entirely push back scenes and then have to reshoot scenes because she was so angry at him that the impact of the scene was basically zero.
Yeah.
And
then also Rambar complained about the director of this, who is named...
Oh, you should come in ready.
No, it's up here. You just got to scroll up. Anurag Basu.
Anurag Basu.
I guess he was so like disorganized with the scenes and stuff. Like his directorial style was just like angered Ranbir. So.
Well, Ranbir Kapoor. I'm just gonna call him Kapoor because he's actually from a dynasty of actors. Some of the first family of Bollywood, actually.
Really?
His entire family are actors. The entire
That's
Kapoor
why he can dance
family.
and sing and act.
Exactly. That's why he is so good. So
I love his
he just. I mean, every scene he would just commit to too. It was pretty awesome.
yeah, it was great. It was fantastic. So let's talk about the movie. What's it about, Trevor?
It basically follows the story of Jagga, who is a boy wonder. He's
teen
detective. He's very intuitive, but
older women
who are in their 20s.
Yeah, and I guess.
Oh, also Celeste is here, and my name's Leonard, and that's Trevor over there.
Am I Trevor?
You might be Trevor.
What's in a name?
I don't know. Anyways, continue.
So Jagga, he doesn't speak. I mean, he does speak, but he's with a really bad stutter.
Yeah,
and he can only speak when he sings because it uses the other side of his brain that's not affected. That doesn't make him stutter.
Correct.
Maybe you should sing, Trevor.
So he was actually abandoned at a hospital because his mother and father were killed in a car accident, and that's where he meets his adopted father.
I didn't catch that part of them getting killed in the car accident.
Oh, really? Yeah.
Is that the beginning?
That's at the beginning.
I must have missed that.
I missed it too because I was like, why does this kid live in the hospital? And
Yeah.
it was like his parents never came from him, and I'm like, that's not how that works.
The stork dropped him off in the wrong spot.
Yeah.
Anyway, so he meets his adopted father there, who he found in a field. He introduced himself as Tutti Frutti.
Tutti Frutti.
No, Futti. F-U-T-T-I.
No, to me, he's Tutti Frutti.
Okay, but his real name is Biplab Bakchi. And he is a bad luck. He's just bad luck. He's a jinx. Everything he does just kind of falls apart, and he falls apart himself.
But he does have a secret past.
He does have a secret past.
This movie is long.
Yeah.
I feel like we can't.
And 40
I feel like we can't go over every single part.
I think we can. I think I've been thinking about it. And I think about how to do this. So if you're all willing, sit back and relax for a moment while I bust through this movie in a very short period of time, because it's actually quite easy to sum up.
But there's so much that you're going to jump over.
No. We don't have to jump over.
Arms deals.
We don't.
Was
have
this a
to
kids'
jump over
movie?
anything.
Right.
It was, yes.
What?
Kids movie
there was so much like
death.
murder and guns.
So
Hold on,
many-
hold on.
There's like
We'll
an
get to that.
action-
We'll get to that, guys. I understand you're excited, but let's go over the movie first. Let's tell the people what it's about.
Then they
It
can't
is
watch
broken into 3 books. No, they can't watch it. That's the problem.
Oh, that's true. This is very hard to find.
Exactly.
You can rent it from us.
You can rent it
You,
from
you can
us.
send Leonard an email.
Send email to Leonard.
And-
Care of person dot.
Send him and then join. If you whoever is our first $20 Patreon we'll send them the movie
I thought we already had our first
To-
$20 Patreon.
to rent.
No,
Well, no,
not
we have a
yet?
$10 Patreon.
Oh.
We don't even make $20.
Well, not
By the
that
way,
cool.
check us out on Patreon.
This is all over the place. This is falling apart. All right,
It's
let's break this
everybody's.
movie down. Let's break it down. Hold on. Okay, ready? Ready to do this?
Break.
Okay, so we start off the movie meeting Shruti, who is Jagga's love interest. Jagga is a boy detective, teenage detective, but we actually meet him as a comic book hero. So there are 3 books that make up this entire movie. The first one is Jagga and the Clock Tower, where he has to figure out if a teacher committed suicide or was murdered. And it turns out to be a love triangle. Really great acting by Kapoor and all of the cast, and also the boys, like,
His posse. His
the boys' school. They do start the movie off with his backstory, which we already told you a little bit about, but he was also left at a boys' school mysteriously.
Yeah, Tutti Frutti got a letter.
Yeah, and
And
next
he
thing you
had
know,
to drop him
he
off
had to
somewhere.
leave. So he gets through that first book. He figures out that it is the PE teacher and what is she, like a history teacher?
Yeah, the history.
History teacher and the PE teacher.
History teacher. The
And-
woman kills
and the math teacher.
kills the other one, Mata.
And she
Miss
was
Mata,
what was she? She was an English teacher.
English teacher.
What language teacher? I don't know if it's teaching of
Anyways.
whatever language they
Moving
speak.
forward, because there's too much to go over than to worry about that a small little detail. So it was a whole jealousy thing. One teacher was having an affair with the PE teacher who was married to the history teacher. History teacher kills the one teacher, and that's when they have to hide the fact that they killed her by tying her to the clock tower, which then drops her down, and she looks like she killed herself. And they found out, and his buddy, the sheriff, doesn't believe him at first, but eventually goes on his side. Then we move into the second book. The second book is, what was the second book?
When
Oh,
he met-
Jagga and the Wheel of Death. And this is when he actually meets Shruti, who is telling the story. He finds out that there might be more to Tutti Frutti's disappearance, meaning that arms deals. He kind of runs into an arms dealer but doesn't know it, but is also kind of struck by Shruti, and that he starts following her and also is following this guy who his brother was shot, right? And he was bringing doctor equipment. And that's when they killed him. Nobody's going to help me. Okay. I'm on my own, guys. Anyways.
I just posted. Never mind.
Okay. You're nobody.
Damn it.
No, everyone's on their phone.
Damn it. I was trying to make a social media post. I posted the wrong account.
Anyways, all right.
Was it your work account?
No, it was my account.
Oh, okay. That's
This one, they're trying to figure out who killed a guy who was an informant for Shruti for her story about arms deals. And what they end up finding out is that it is a bigger deal than they think, that there's a whole cartel behind it. And they kind of find the guy who did it. He's goes with a traveling circus, a knife thrower. There's this whole thing where there's a wheel, hence the wheel of death. This is where it kind of falls apart, because I don't think there was a resolution in that one, other than the fact that the sheriff does help them by keeping them from getting shot to death from the arms dealers.
Yeah, that story abruptly ends.
Yeah.
Like he's about to get shot, and then
intermission.
the cop gets honored though too, doesn't he, or something?
Right, the cop gets on, the sheriff gets honored, and that was pretty much. I'm calling him sheriff, but
That guy's
I don't think that's
mustache
what they're
was
called.
so cool.
It was, yeah. But yeah, so they find the arms dealer. They end up chasing them out, and blah blah blah. There's fanfare over the sheriff catching these guys. Then intermission. Yes, there was an intermission. I'm assuming that they're not used to movies being this long.
It was at that point, it was probably a full movie.
Yeah. So then we finally hit the final book, the one that's mainly supposed to be about, which is Jagga and the Red Circle.
Yes.
I believe something like that. I'm also
Everyone's in love and meant to be together.
Now that one's really hard to kind of, impact. Well, not impact. What's the word I'm looking for here? Unpack.
You got that.
I got there. Because in this one, Jagga's kind of on the run because of everything going on with Shruti and Tutti Frutti. Because it starts out with Jagga thinking Tutti Frutti had been killed in a car accident. Mm-hmm. And what?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So then he goes to the wake of sorts, like I think it was a prayer meeting.
Yeah. His boss plans like a funeral type.
And it's kind of when he finds out a little bit more.
And he said he had it cremated.
Mm-hmm.
He's a liar.
Yeah, and it ends up turning out no, he is the one that is just trying to get a hold of Jagga because Jagga has a tape that he needs, but he doesn't actually have the tape. So I thought that was a little weird. So he ends up having to go on the run because now this guy is looking for him, and he is trying to find that he now finds out his name is Bakchi, and Bakchi is somewhere still alive. He figured out he was alive because the guy who faked his death did it at the wrong time and said, oh, he was killed on this day. He goes, no, because 2 weeks later I got a phone call from him, so that's when he starts laughing and saying, you're lying. And being Jagga, he knows that something's up and escapes and starts to go on the run. And Shruti comes along with him, and they start going all over South Africa trying to find Bakchi. But what they end up finding is learn to speak.
Well, Shruti had given her card to him at the end of the second story, so that's why he found her again. He went to her apartment.
Yes, that's right. And then they do that really what I thought was a nonsense singing scene, but ended up being about death, which is basically the entire movie.
Everyone dies.
Everything was like, it would start out happy and then they talk about death. And I'm like, what the hell? I was not prepared for this.
You were way more woke than I ever was.
Yeah, because they talked about child armies and mass genocides and
like terrorist attacks.
Like, oh
and
my
gun supply
God.
to the world, all the bad countries.
Like, the rest of the third book is him trying to find this arms dealer so they could finish what Bakchi started, because they figured he had been either killed or he was missing and there was no way going to find him, even though they almost run him over with their car and a few other things. It's so much. There's so much.
Yeah, I mean, you told the story, but I feel like there's still so much more in there.
There's a ton, and a lot of it comes
when
down
they
to
went to Nepal, right? They went. Is that the other country they were in?
They were in Africa.
They never went to Nepal. Bakchi went to Nepal.
No, yeah, Bakchi went to Nepal. So they were in Africa. They were in when they were doing the dancing in the street.
Which one?
When
Which time?
They were in the same city the whole time. They were dancing in the street for money.
Oh yeah. That's Cape Town. That's Cape Town.
Yeah, that's Cape. Okay.
South Africa.
They ended up like dancing, knowing the whole dance routine together for some reason. But
could make money because all their stuff had been left
and it was
behind
like
as
weirdly
evidence.
hip. I mean, I don't know if Bollywood. I mean, I guess Bollywood has hip hop dancing too, but it was.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
Okay,
There's a lot of hip hop dancing in this movie.
Remember, if you can't dance in India, you die.
Exactly. So we kind of unpacked this whole movie a little bit. Honestly, we're skimming the surface. But that's because when you have a 2 hour and 45-minute movie, you can't really sit here and go scene by scene and break it down. I mean, I could, but I don't think anyone would listen.
Yeah. I mean, and the weird thing about this movie, too, it felt even longer than that.
It
felt
did.
like there was like 3 full movies in here.
And that's because they could.
Because it was 3
Yeah,
movies.
there was resolution every time, and I'm like, oh, well, we could stop here.
Yeah. I mean, and it didn't catch up until like the beginning. It seemed like it was going to, but then it didn't catch up to the beginning of the movie until the very, very end.
Right.
Yeah.
Where
and then it was like singing about world peace with all these little kids.
Yes, but at the very, very end, there's a twist that leads you maybe into the next movie. I hope there is another one.
Happen because they didn't get any money. And our podcast sparks
Well,
people to go
okay.
find this movie and
They-
watch
Yeah.
it. And
Okay, they made 33.17 crore. Okay, CROR.
Indian money.
Translates
Okay.
to $10 million.
Oh, that's not bad. That's not bad for an Indian
no,
flick.
1 crore equals 10 million.
Oh,
They didn't make 300 million.
It says crore US dollars equals 10 million US. And then when I look up the exact number that I looked up, the 33.17, everyone was like, the Jagga Jasoos made 33.17.
Million crore,
Yes.
not
Oh.
US dollars.
we don't know
But
that.
translated crore is 10 million, like a crore.
Yeah, but okay. Well,
10 million crore.
IMDb won't be of any help because they're not properly reporting it.
I found out what a crore.
131 crore. They had made 131 crore, not 31 crore.
No, 331 point. No, wait, no.
I'm confused.
33.17.
Why is
Right there, the budget was
Oh.
131 crore.
Oh, and the box office is only 83.
So they made less than they spent. So it was unsuccessful.
But they earned 33.17 crore, not 83 point. I don't know. I don't know. Well, they're guessing
that
but,
33 might be opening weekend in India.
maybe.
This is box office total 83.35 crore.
All I know is
The
that it was
budget
unsuccessful.
was really inflated. Holy mother of crap. 131 crore. Oh, yeah, they're not making another one.
It
Oh.
did trump Bahubali 2 on the first day.
Oh,
Yeah, but not overall.
yeah, the overall does matter. It's kind of what killed, what was it, Lone Ranger. You know, the first day Lone Ranger came out, it was okay.
And then everyone thought it was not a good movie because it wasn't a good movie.
It was so good.
No, it was not. Leonard.
Anyways, Jagga Jasoos.
I liked it.
Yeah. Anyway, so let's talk about the dancing because oh my god, it was amazing. Any of the songs, any of the singing, it was all great.
Yeah,
There were slow moments. Don't get me wrong. There were definitely those love songs that make you go, oh my god, what are you doing?
There was no swan boat.
There was no swan boat.
there was no kung fu makeup applying,
No,
but there was like
There was no porn
like-
stash.
no porn
his,
stash.
His numbers with all his buddies at the school, I think, were the best. ones.
Yes, the one where they were talking about the mistake one. That's my favorite.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's the one that won an award, I
Yeah,
believe.
that did. It won an award. Well, it was nominated. The song was nominated for an award, but the choreography actually won the award.
The
It
choreography
felt
did,
like
yeah.
those moments felt like a full-on like professional musical, and I think the way they shot it, it was really cool. And
You know, I was reading something about it, and someone brought up a good comparison. It felt like a Broadway musical.
Yeah.
Meaning that it was purely singing, very little exposition, very little talking. Most
Because
movie
you
musicals.
could not speak.
Yeah.
Exactly.
which ended up making the head lady sing by accident too, because she would realize that she started singing.
And even the villain was like, "Why are you singing so much? Now I'm singing."
Yeah.
I imagine if someone was just like only talking to me and sing song,
Right,
I'd start like singing to them.
I would take the opportunity to shoot them. Anyways.
Well, we know what kind of person Leonard is.
Yes, we do. We've always known.
I feel like if you wanted to get the best parts of the movie, just look up all the musical numbers.
Really, yeah.
They were
Yeah.
And
fantastic.
really, you could piece together the movie that way.
And the one you want to look for is Galti Si Mistake, which won the technical award for best choreography
a
in the
gift.
Vijay Gangu.
That was really good.
It was. It's fantastic. It's super catchy, and it's absolutely creepy because they're talking about things that I can only surmise, which I'm assuming was sex.
I
So,
assume.
I assume. I assume teenagers having sex and making mistakes. That's what they were saying.
Or maybe falling in love. We
Yeah,
don't
maybe.
know.
Yeah, maybe the
The thrusting tells me otherwise.
There was a
There
little bit of thrusting.
thrusting.
There was a
You
little.
got me there.
And a lot of twerking.
There was an
Oh yeah, they did
opportunity.
twerk. Yeah, I was like,
They
that's
did
interesting.
do that.
So the thing that kind of threw me off, and I wish they hadn't included in, was that he was a teenage detective.
Yeah, why couldn't he have been like just like a senior boy there? Like he could
No,
have been,
none of that crap either, because the guy is 35 years old and he doesn't look like a teen.
He does look
He
like a
looks
man.
like he's 35 years old. So when I would see it, I would go, "This isn't. No, I don't see
I
it."
kept forgetting that he was supposed to be a teenager because I'm like, this guy's an adult.
At one point, I just took that away in my
yeah,
head.
I
I was
didn't-
like,
I
"He's
didn't-
not a teen."
I don't. I, mean,
I don't care what
I
they
don't think
say.
about
And he kept
people's.
trying to kiss what's her face, and she was 26.
Right.
Like, they said she was 26.
He could have been 18.
They never said his age. They just say that
19.
he's a teen.
19.
And technically, Bakji had only left him there for like, what, 6 or 7 years, and he dropped him off when he was a little boy. So I'm like, oh, Lord, he's like 14, 15, but he looks like he... It was like Robin Williams in that movie. What was it?
Big.
No, Big is
that's,
Tom Hanks. Thank you.
It's what's the
the
one?
one where he
ages really
he
fast.
ages too
Yeah.
fast.
That one. That's what it was. That's what
What
happened.
movie is that?
I don't remember.
I don't
It's just
remember.
sad.
It's so sad.
Robin Williams died.
Oh, in real life or in the movie? Because both happened.
Oh,
Robin
Oh,
Williams
depressing.
R.I.P. Anyways,
The bad guy had 2 heads.
the bad guy had 2 heads.
That was interesting.
That was weird.
He was part of the Russian
Yeah,
circus.
so like that's what like the whole time the movie I was like, okay, it's kiddish. She's telling a story to kids. It's supposed to be like
Kids
it's a
were,
comic
like,
book.
narrating it,
Yeah, so but
technically.
Yeah.
it was very much obviously supposed to be a kids movie, but then like the themes were very serious,
Very adult.
very adult, very
like-
terrorist groups,
terrorist.
militant groups, child armies.
Yeah,
People-
there were
It
not.
addressed all of it.
Let me say
And it was
this.
like India has the biggest arms trade in the world, and I was like, what the heck?
That's and apparently that is very true, and that's something I did not know.
Right? These kids be woke.
So, I want to point out the connection to Disney really quick, because I think if you're going to watch this and go, it's a Disney movie, you will be had. Because
Sorry, distributor.
correct. So Disney likes to do this thing where if they give you money, which in this, we'll go over what happened with this movie exactly as to why they needed so much money.
Because
Disney
the
wanted-
colors were beautiful.
Oh, the whole thing was gorgeous.
Oh yeah,
But Disney likes to be top billing. They like to be front and center and to be seen and to know that this is the amazing thing that they're doing. So it says Disney, Jagga, Jasoos directly on all of the posters. Now, when you start up the DVD, does it say Disney anywhere? No. Why? Because Disney was the distribution house, and that means that they were the one that distributed to the theaters and the ones that sent out the DVDs, but honestly, they had nothing to do with the production itself. So you'll see other names that will pop up and have nothing to do with Disney, and Disney will not claim to this movie as its own because it didn't actually create it. So they're able to cut their ties when they want to cut their ties. So this is not a Disney movie. It's distributed by the Walt Disney Pictures branch of the Walt Disney Corporation, and I
In
think that
India.
needs to be pointed out. Well, it's the same branch everywhere throughout the world.
Oh.
So that needed to be pointed out. So all right. So this movie had some issues. When was it supposed to originally be out, Trevor?
2015.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When did it start, Trevor?
They filmed it in 2013, I believe.
It started in 2013, pre-production. 2014 was filming, and then it fell to crap.
It was in hell.
Hell upon hell. We already went over some of the reasons why, besides the fact that there was a love triangle-ish going on
And it was
between
also a 3-hour movie.
and a bad
That's a
and
lot
a
to
director that didn't know what he was doing or have a direction or a vision.
Or
But
was able to convey his vision to
yeah,
the actors.
and also reshoots on reshoots as the main actor was making commitments with other movies. So this is where you call a movie that had poor planning. A lot of poor
I'm
planning.
surprised they even got it out.
It
Yeah.
almost got shelved
It
because
sh-
we're like, it's taking too long.
It almost should have. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like they should have taken the first half and released it. And then the second half and released it.
Right? This
2
was
parts would have
3
been fine.
movies.
Yeah, like they could have like stopped it with like after the second story, and gone into like the third story. But
Because she ended it.
yeah,
I wonder if they built that in there.
Dimension.
I wonder if they built that in there just in case they did have to like throw it out on the market really quick.
Oh yeah, like we already sunk so much money into this. It gotta go.
I feel like that was probably a safe part on there. But,
I'm thinking too. Now that you mentioned that he's a teen detective, it's like the language. Like we read that. That's what they translated as. What if he was a teen detective, and now at this point in the story, they've caught up and he's older than that?
because he was in a school and he was going to school.
Because he got abandoned there. He didn't have any parents.
But he was going to class.
Did he go to class?
He was going to class. They have a whole thing where he's dancing in the hallways with all of his
He's
chums.
brushing his teeth.
Yeah.
I don't see him in class though.
No, he walked into class.
Oh, okay.
That's when we first meet the history teacher.
Oh, you're right. Yeah.
So, no.
They were also the last one.
He could have been like a Billy Madison type thing. He just like was still in school.
He's just really
I mean,
bad.
he was taller. He was bigger than all those kids. He had more facial. What was the hair thing? Like I know it was supposed to be like a quirky type thing, but it was just like
Okay, now we're getting into it.
Like,
Thank you for asking. Thank you for asking that question. So everyone,
chocolate chip on his head.
everyone feels like this was stolen directly from the old comic strip Tintin.
Oh,
Also
she's
the
like,
movie.
Also the movie Tintin, but that's
I've
not.
never seen or read either, so
But you
I
point out
can't
the movie,
say
so.
either way.
If anybody ever feels like looking up Tintin, he has hair just like that, except center instead of to the side. And they actually have many the movie posters side by side between Tintin and Jagga Jasoos, and you'll see direct like rip-offs of it. Let me see if I can pull one up for our viewing pleasure.
they just borrowed some. Oh yeah, this little hair. Yeah, was he Detective Boy too?
He was. He was a detective.
He had a little dog, didn't he?
Yeah. So this is
Jagga didn't have a little dog.
Jagga did not have a little dog.
Therefore,
Like even the movie posters are pretty
fake
similar.
news.
And they also in the movie Jagga,
When was that scene when they're like, oh, okay, I think I remember.
that was going into the arms. We're talking about something we're seeing right now where they're paddling down a river, but that's when they're going into the arms dealer thing, which also makes me think
These guys got caught so much.
they did.
They were like,
They
I
were
think
the
they were
worst
caught like
detectives
4 or 5
ever.
times.
Yeah.
Like every time they would go into somewhere, they'd
Well,
get
because
caught.
she had the bad luck too, just like his father. So
Which
Which was
was
weird.
always
Like
weird.
it kind of implied that she was his daughter, especially at the end.
Right.
They were
Right.
sleeping exactly the same.
the same, and I'm just like, so is that your sister?
Or your daughter. No, but it's not his actual dad though. It's his adopted
But
dad.
still,
But it's
don't
gross.
kiss your adopted sister. Don't do that.
Okay, don't say it like that. That's worse. All right. So overall, I enjoyed the movie. I probably
I
would.
enjoyed the movie. I enjoyed the music.
I would probably watch parts of it again.
I wouldn't watch the whole thing. It's a
I'd
very
watch the
long
musical
movie.
numbers again for sure.
Yeah, for sure. I'd watch the musical numbers again. But as for the entire movie again, I think it's a DVD I will put on my shelf and go, well, I watched that. What's next?
When someone comes to your door and says, I need a good Bollywood movie.
Do you have 2 hours and 45 minutes, my friend? Then I can change your life. No, I can't. I can just give you this movie.
The last 3 movies we've watched have all been at least 2 hours and 40 minutes.
I know. What's with it?
Bahubali,
Why are people
and
making
Jagga
long
Jasoos.
movies
I
now?
feel like in India they only make long movies.
Yeah.
You have nothing else to do.
Well,
Tell
maybe it's
me.
more of an event for them, like it used to be here.
Yeah, and maybe because they have so many people in their country, they have to make the movie longer to include them all into the film.
All right. Well,
Okay.
Hey, is that racist to say that they have a lot of people in their country? When did that become a race thing to say it's a very crowded country?
because you're making a very
I mean,
big generalization
I
there,
don't
Mr.
know.
Thomas.
A generalization that there was over 1 billion people in that area? That's a generalization? That's a fact, Leonard.
Yes, but you're assuming that they're all crammed into one city.
Well, if you look at the
Okay,
population,
okay.
there's a lot of them. in
There's a
some
lot
cities.
of them, yes.
They're just all in one place.
Yeah.
It's like over half. Isn't like some like 1/3 of the population is in China and India,
Yeah,
something like that. That's crazy.
something like that.
Must be kind of crowded.
A little bit.
Yeah.
A little bit.
Not enough of breathing room.
Yeah. So, okay, Jagga Jasoos. I'm going to give it, get ready for this one, 7 gold blooms.
I knew it.
Wow.
7 gold
For a
blooms.
movie that you're not going to watch again, you sure rate it highly.
I do.
That's
I do.
35 stars.
Because he enjoyed it.
35
It's
stars.
based off the cinematography and the music.
Right? The
Yes, it is.
cinematography is
Also, I'm
They have
just
some
going to
really good
say it.
locations,
Listen, I'm going to say this, and I'm not going to feel bad. Ranbir Kapoor is a very beautiful man, and I did not mind looking at him. So
He was nice to look at.
he
I
was
will
nice to
agree.
look at, and that was welcoming, because in Bahubali, the guy reminded me more of a porn star,
Right.
like a '70s porn
Was
star.
it just the stash?
I
or,
think
like,
it was, yeah.
what?
And Katrina Kaif wasn't bad to look at either, but honestly, it was very interesting.
You know, she was the second highest grossing actress in 2017, and the guy Ranbir was dating the highest paid actress, and then cheated on her with Katrina. They were.
Why do you know this?
Because
I ended up in some back pages. I don't know. I was
No,
reading.
you know what? That's fantastic.
I think I was reading about Bahubali. I mean, not Bahubali. Jagga, Jasoos 2, and I ended up over there somehow.
Okay.
The possibility, or like how it's not going to happen.
Well, yeah. I mean, it failed pretty fantastically.
But we need to get people's eyes on this somehow. They need to like put it under a streaming service so more people can
They
watch
do.
it.
Right.
They
Netflix,
need to put it somewhere.
go talk to these people and have them make a second one.
You know, I wonder if there's a way to suggest
Can we talk about
something.
how the movie ended? Because not many people are going to see this movie.
That's true. So the movie ended with they were all there with the children after like
beginning of the movie.
he was meeting all the children that she was telling the story to, and then all of a sudden lights go out, lights come on, and he's gone, and so is Bakchi. Then next thing you know, they're out in the middle of the sea on a container ship, and in one of the containers is Bakchi and Jagga tied up back to back with the two-headed arms dealer walking in laughing. And that's it.
And
they were kidnapped.
his backstory was a little weird. The two-headed arms dealer.
Yeah.
Like why he became an arms dealer in the first
Just kind of because,
Yeah.
honestly.
place.
Just because.
It was just two heads are better than one.
Once you're the head of a circus, what can't you do?
Exactly. P.T. Barnum would tell
Oh,
you that.
Also, there was a scene where they talked about they were delivering cakes and guns. They were hiding the guns as cakes. But
Right.
then they made a comment that like, oh, they just switched the tops of these
Yeah.
boxes.
So where
It's
did
like, but
the
they were not
guns
marked.
go?
How do they still know which box? Just because they switched the tops, the boxes still look exactly the
Also,
fucking same.
Where did the guns go?
Yeah.
More importantly, there is a bunch of like kids that wanted cake and got like AK-47s out there.
And like, I imagine that would have gone to like the nicer places, you know.
They were giving guns to the troublesome places, so now the troublesome places got
Yeah,
the cakes.
they got
But that
cakes.
means some like Richie
Yeah.
kids are getting guns.
Getting
for-
guns.
The Pope. The Pope got guns.
Was,
The Pope
No, this was the gift from
got
the Pope
guns.
to the world.
I'm done.
So the Pope gave everyone guns.
But why?
apparently.
But why are the rich people getting cakes dropped in on them anyways?
Because when you're rich, you can get whatever the
I
hell you
mean,
want.
they wouldn't be
This is like the
rich
OG Uber
people.
Eats right here.
It would be the impoverished people that they still need to drop supplies.
Amazon.
I don't know too
delivery.
many impoverished people that's like, you know what I want? I want cake.
Cake.
I've never heard a poor
You
person
know
say
what?
that.
As
Cake
per
makes the world go
Pope,
round.
That was his gift to the world.
Sure it was.
No, it was the body of Christ.
Anyway.
Little Jesus.
No. Trevor,
Yes.
where are you putting this on your rating scales?
Hmm.
More importantly, would you recommend it?
I
Oh, there was
It is a long.
there was a
movie.
pause.
yeah, it's a very long movie. If you enjoy Bollywood films,
And you enjoy movies that are 2 hours and 40
yeah,
minutes.
there's some really good numbers in there. There's some funny moments. There's okay character development. So I would give it a 2 camels out of.
There were no camels in this movie.
He was riding a camel.
There were no camels in this
He
movie.
was riding an ostrich.
No, he was riding an ostrich. They look the same. They got long necks. I will find a camel in this movie.
There were no
Okay.
camels in this movie
There's
because
a camel.
camels
Next
don't
time
exist
on
there.
Camel Watch.
Out of 3 crates of guns.
I'm gonna give this all the crates of guns.
They deserve all
This
the crates.
Movie is woke as fuck.
Yeah, it is. It's a little much
I'm
if you
like,
want to
this is-
relax.
This is not stuff that I think about the child armies of the world. Maybe I should. I don't know.
Nobody.
It reminds me
It's so
of
sad.
like the original Power Rangers movies when Ooze wanted to take all the kids and he was using the ooze slime.
Oh,
take.
yeah.
Oh, he took the parents actually. Never mind.
No, he took parents.
Yeah, and this is the opposite of that.
Yeah, you almost got it though.
Yeah.
You're getting there.
If you want to be woke, watch this movie.
Yeah, if you want to relax though, watch the
It
musical
kind of
numbers.
stressed me out. I was like, oh my god, so much stuff is happening in the world.
And there's a lot of
Oh
yeah,
my
a little bit of
God.
jarring camera movement sometimes.
Yeah,
It did the thing again where it slowed way down like they did in Bahubali. There was the scene with
that
the
like
knife
subframe
thrower,
movement.
and they
Oh,
like slowed it way down, and they also did that in Bahubali. So I'm just like, is this like?
was it during a dance number?
No. It was
No, it was
when they
during
were
the
with the
knife
knife
scene.
thrower.
Oh
And
yeah,
they
yeah,
slowed
yeah.
it way down.
I feel like you don't remember a lot of this movie.
I saw it like 3 days ago, but I remember, now I see it in my mind when you describe it to me.
Is that just like a camera trick they do there? Is
Maybe.
this
That's just
a
the
thing?
style, maybe.
So, all right, Jagga Jasoos, you can find it on Amazon, not Amazon Prime or streaming, but you can buy it off of Amazon,
Probably other
Um,
sites too.
Like
and probably
DVD
others, yeah.
copy.
or go to your local torrent site. I'm not saying you should, but it might
So-
be easier.
So are torrent sites local? You said your local torrent site. Are
Go to your
I got my
friendly
Fresno torrent
neighborhood
site. I got my
torrent site.
Sanger. I got. Oh,
Actually, you know what? I take that back. I don't think there are any torrent site left after Pirate Bay got taken down.
what happened to LimeWire? Remember LimeWire?
LimeWire got in
Loved
trouble.
LimeWire.
Yeah.
Well,
For
because
what?
there was nothing but
For
porn, child porn.
Oh.
That's how child molesters were passing their porn between them each other.
And I just used it to
great.
download like my 90210.
I used it for
And-
my sweet jams.
Guys,
The whole
guys,
season 5 of Gossip Girl.
It's still illegal.
You're illegal.
Leonard, stop being so illegal.
Personally, I never used it. So anybody who would like to,
Aren't you high and mighty?
You know what? I'll admit to what I downloaded on there. I downloaded Book 5 of Rick Rortian, the Olympic. I don't know what it's been called. Like the Percy
think-
Jackson series. Book 5. I got a PDF copy off of there.
Was that hard to read?
No, it was just like the book, but PDF.
Oh, okay.
okay.
I
used to
really-
But I
Download
bought the other
music.
4, so
just music.
I just did music.
you're such a sly dog.
And then I'd feel bad, so I'd go on iTunes and buy it anyways.
Oh,
my
gosh.
God.
So I would have two
So, I
files.
have trust issues with iTunes. Remember when iTunes would sometimes like update and you would like lose your music?
Oh, yeah.
So I was just like, I'm not gonna
I
pay
think
for it if I'm
to
just
this
gonna lose it.
I don't buy much music though. Like I think I've downloaded.
I pay for Spotify every month because I'm like so ADD about it. I can't just like have all of this music, you know? I need options.
I think I own like 20 songs that I've downloaded over since.
All of my songs are from the Starbucks app.
Oh, the free one.
Yeah.
I would go. Yeah, I have like 3 songs that I'd like to pick up the card in
Yeah.
Starbucks to just download it.
Oh, my
Like,
God.
if you have the app, they're like,
We're
this is
all
our
I like
old.
download of the
Frank
day.
Sinatra. Like
Right?
We're all so old.
Yes. I embrace my 85.
I didn't use Spotify for the first time until like 2 months ago.
What
the hell?
Yeah.
We pay for like
Let's see,
family
when-
Spotify, so we have like me, Leonard, his sister, his mom, his dad.
Fun-
Like,
I don't listen to music that
See,
often.
fun fact, when Spotify was in invitation only, I got an invitation.
Wow.
And I
Leonard-
loved it then. And I
Leonard, the
loved it
hipster
ever
over here.
since.
I was on Spotify before. I was on
He was
Spotify.
on.
Oh no!
When I
When I
drink-
first,
When I drink coffee beans. From the
shut the hell up. Anyways,
Leonard is such
when
a-
it
so,
first,
okay, Leonard used
for
to
the
do
love of God.
oh, here we go.
Apple
Leonard's story
dating,
time.
Like it was a dating.
Oh, yeah.
For like people that use Apple products. Like back in the day.
Thank you for that. Yeah, I did. It did not
Baby,
work.
Baby, your apple looks good next to mine.
Not only did it not work, but 90% of the time I would just get completely shot down, even on there. So thank you. Thank you for that.
Now, what does
Yeah.
it matter?
What does it matter? I guess it doesn't matter.
How did you even find that?
It was actually a news story that came out talking about it, and it was Cupertino. I think that's what it's called, like Cupertino,
Okay.
like the Apple headquarters. Cupertino. It's called Cupertino.
Where did you read this news story?
No. I saw it on a news channel
So
that I
you
will
were
not
like
mention.
watching a news station.
A station of which that I will not mention.
That you currently work at, maybe.
Shh. We will not say.
Full circle. It came full circle.
Everything about my job came full circle. All right. Oh yeah. So yeah, that was a fun time. The early Spotify was not very intuitive.
It wasn't very good when it first came.
Yeah, it wasn't. But you know what? Hulu was the same. Actually, no. Take that back. The very first Hulu, when it was just the website,
I
and
remember
they
that.
stole all the stuff,
That was
you could
so
watch
good.
anything.
Anything. I watched anything.
And then they had Hulu Plus, where it just had like no commercials.
No. That was after it got in trouble and shut down and brought back.
Oh, like
Because
whoa.
what happened was when it first was there, it was like a shitty 90s looking website where you just had to type it in. It would just be like text files
and, then it would
and
be
stuff.
Like, oh look, you can watch this on Hulu.
Yeah. And
I remember when Netflix was just DVDs.
yeah.
Oh my god.
I remember when you used to get, you could.
Had like you had the 7
I've
DVD plan,
only-
but then you lose those
No.
fucking DVDs and you like
I
so
remember
much
when
money.
you would get the leaflets for the free 30-day trial of Netflix. And you send in a letter with the little leaflet.
I never saw.
Maybe I'm just really young, but I've been streaming Netflix since I was like in high school.
Oh no! You don't know
No.
about the struggle of the Netflix case.
No, I just remember like and those little damn covers for the Netflix.
All of them would tear, and all
Yeah,
of them would get
you'd
lost.
lose them under a couch or something.
And then you'd be like, "This is fine." Or my favorite one is, "I've been waiting for this movie forever." Take it out, look at it. This is The Godfather. This
Hey,
isn't
it's still
even
a
a
good movie.
This is not even a Netflix movie.
Or like I remember
here.
like watching a season of something and you gotta send this back so we can get the next season sent to us.
Oh yeah.
Dexter. I think I watched like season 3
there
and
was
4 of Dexter.
There was
way.
that GameFly that I would do
I
GameFly.
never did GameFly.
That was a decent way of doing it. You never got the games you wanted because they were all out because you could have them out for as long as you wanted.
Yeah.
So it didn't make sense. And then the Blockbuster.
I remember there was a Blockbuster machine near my house for a little bit.
No, I'm talking about when you had to go to the store.
Oh
and
no, yeah, going to Block. No, yeah. I remember when they when I think it was like Xbox 360 came out, PS3, you had to have a debit card on your Blockbuster account. Like before you didn't have to have like a collateral card to rent movies. You could just have a membership.
Because they had a bunch of them stolen.
Yeah. So, but then when like the more expensive games came out, like I had to tell my mom to put her debit card on there so I could rent the new games.
Wasn't that the worst part too?
Yeah.
Like whenever you had to ask your parent, you're like, I need a credit card or a debit card. They're not going to charge you. I just
No,
need
they
it
didn't believe
on.
it. Like, nope.
Yeah.
Nope,
Shut you
not
down.
doing
I used to
that.
bike to Blockbuster and just walked up and down the aisles. That was my summer. I'd go to Blockbuster, go to Wendy's,
Oh really?
and
So
and
when I lived in Hanford and hung out in Lemoore all the time, there was a Hollywood Video.
oh, I remember Hollywood Video.
Yeah, and there was a Carl's Jr. No, not a Carl's Jr. A Jack in the Box.
You
Jack in
guys,
the Box is too expensive.
you
Yeah,
guys
so I'd
living in
go-
cities with
I
things.
would go pick up my Jack in the Box and then go get some cool videos. And
All right, sit back, kids. I'm going to tell you a little
Oh.
story.
Tell us about the Jensen one. Jensen
So,
videos.
in my little town of Sanger, California, there was the local video store, which everyone went to over Blockbuster and Hollywood because it was cheaper and had a better selection. It was called Jensen Video. And they would not only sell you the VHSs or DVDs that you rented, but they were just like great people. And it was my first job ever when I was a kid. They'd pay me $100 every Christmas.
What?
Every
And I
Christmas.
would test video games.
What? That's the
all
best job ever.
They gave me all of the latest consoles to test all these different
How did
games.
you get this job?
Because we had been going there forever, and my mom knew everyone that was there.
Your mom
Yeah.
knows everyone.
Did
ever.
they have a little back corner that was covered for and kids couldn't allow it in?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh
they
my
did.
God.
That's what we miss out on now, but I guess everything can be streamed now.
So
Yeah, we don't need that anymore.
Hey, we do have like a new. Isn't there like a porn store on Shaw now, right off of Shaw? and
no, it's not a
41?
porn store. It's
Like sex
the
toy
Hustler.
store.
No. Hustler is just
Why
like
do you know so much about
adult,
this?
It's just like
It's an adult
Spencer's,
store,
basically,
yeah,
just
it's-
an adult store.
like lingerie and stuff.
Oh, okay.
not
It's so
as-
bright.
Not as fun.
It's very
It
bright.
is. It's very bright.
It's very bright.
Hustler, Hollywood.
Where can you buy porn magazines nowadays?
At the gas station.
Barnes
I
and
think?
Nobles.
Barnes and Noble, they have a section.
Yeah.
I think the gas stations still have like their magazines.
Yeah, they do.
Rows.
Some of them do.
The
Yeah.
one with the plastic, and you gotta like try to pick it up and move the plastic. get a sample of the
Someone
goods.
seems to know a lot
I think
about
we're
this.
learning something here about adolescent Trevor. Oh man! So you would go in and try to move
I
the
think no, I
plastic,
think I did that at, like Vaughn's once in the magazine section.
and then you felt horribly guilty or
No,
something.
I
No,
don't-
you're just like, no,
Good.
I'm good.
Yeah.
It's fine.
There you go. That's fine. We're fine.
I remember one time we went to Blockbuster. I was going with like 3 of my friends, and we had our chains, so we like locked up our bikes to the tree right there next to the Blockbuster, and for some reason it just didn't come, it just wouldn't come undone. So our bikes were like stuck to this tree. So I don't know I don't know if I had a cell phone. Maybe one of us had a cell phone at this point.
Oh my God, you guys are young.
Yeah, I don't know. And because my mom ended up showing it. Maybe we went inside and called her from Blockbuster. We might have been that. And she showed up and we're like, our chains are stuck to our bikes are all, because we only had one chain, so we chained all of the bikes to the tree. With
That
one
sounds like a
chain.
very guy thing to
And
do.
then my mom shows up in her van. She's like, okay, she brought something to cut the chains. She brings this like tiny pink little toolbox. It's like the size of your hand. And she just walks up with like these tiny pink little tools, and it did not work. I think she ended up having to call like my uncle to bring like a saw over or something. It was pretty bad.
Or, and this is just for anyone who wants to do this, just call somebody that has the cutters.
We call her an adult. I don't know.
You called the wrong adult. Apparently, you
My
called
mom's pretty resourceful, man.
but you called the adult with the tiny one.
Pink little toolbox.
That's fantastic.
It's like the size
I
of
feel
a
like I need one in
lunchbox.
my life.
You know when I got my first cell phone? Oh man, I think it was
Back
high
when you were-
school. I think it was high school. It was a track phone.
Oh yeah.
The
How
only
many minutes did you have?
500 minutes.
Oh, that's a good amount.
Never used it. Had no one to call.
Couldn't text anyone.
No, I take that back. You know what? It was actually middle school because it was kind of the thing to have.
Yeah.
Mind you, you were yelled at if you even touched any of the extra peripherals on there, whether it was text message or
Yeah. What was the cell phone for?
emergencies. Emergencies only, Trevor.
And they'd have a game, at least one.
Yeah, it's
Snake.
not like Snake.
Snake
Or
was
Tetris.
legit.
I got my phone in 3rd grade.
That
Third
lines up.
grade?
No one else had a phone, but I
Man.
had mine for pure.
So were you like that
emergency
little?
only.
Were you like that little girl from Daddy Daycare?
Which one?
The one that had the cell phone and the mom said, use this and call 911 if anything's wrong. And then you see her in one scene where it's 911, help! He stole my doll. She's tearing off the head. Is one of the
No,
Fanning sisters.
Because I was in 3rd grade, so I wasn't.
I think it was South Dakota
7.
Fanning.
South Dakota Fanning? Not North Dakota
No,
Fanning?
that's the older one.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So no, but I had that little phone, and I had that little phone. It was
Nokia?
It was a little AT&T blue phone that
Was it Nokia?
No, I don't think it was. I don't know what it was.
It was just, it was probably,
just a little blue square.
It was a
That
burner
my
phone.
I don't think they gave you a real phone.
I don't
Sounds like
think
they
they-
gave you like
I
a
called
box
people,
of Tic Tacs
so
or something.
it was probably a burner phone.
Maybe those are just the voices you were hearing in your head.
So anyway, Trevor, then I got a flip phone in 5th grade because I'm cool, and that's when I started texting because by that time,
Singular, right?
by that
Singular.
time, I think Leonard would have been in like high school by the time I was in 5th grade.
You cradle robber.
Yep.
Everyone, we need
That's
to
when we
clear up
started.
this right now, please.
That's when they met and fell in love.
Damn it, Trevor.
In 5th grade. Let's see, Leonard was 4 years
He was
ahead.
underage still. He was 16.
Let's see. Yeah, what grade would you be in? 6th. Yeah, you would have been in your freshman year of high school when I was in 5th grade.
That's not that bad. It's only 4 years.
Oh, shut up,
Only
Trevor.
4 years. We're
Me and my
only-
wife are like 17 days apart.
Oh.
Oh, okay, so
How old are you, Trevor?
he's
25. No. Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
you're 25. You turned
That's
25.
2017. Yeah.
Yeah, you
Or
turned
was it
25 last year.
last year? Was 2017. Yeah, I turned
You were
25.
born a year before I
Now,
was.
to our viewer or to our listeners who don't know, Trevor and Celeste have known each other for a long time versus
Not really.
longer than
Well,
me.
why-
I've
since-
known Trevor like a semester longer than you have.
Really? I don't know when I met
No,
Leonard.
No, you've known him at least
Oh.
a few years more.
Oh.
Yeah,
Because I worked with him barely at one point, and
But
then
that was like
we
my
didn't
junior.
really.
That was like we took a. I volunteered. I knew of you because I was going to also audition for your movie.
Right.
Yeah, and that was like my
Oh.
junior year.
Yeah,
Right.
And
auditioned for his movie.
And I joined cheer my freshman year,
I
and you came in the next year.
I joined. I think before I had even graduated from high school.
Yeah, so you showed up the summertime, like after I'd been in cheer for a
Yeah,
semester.
you've known him a lot
Yeah.
longer.
Like a year, at least a year.
This romance
Yeah,
between
we-
Trevor and I
we had, like,
is
we're
is
actually-
blossoming still.
It's
It
in
was
its
very
early stages.
It is,
We're just old friends over here.
and I'm just sitting here going, I'm just got thumbs up. That's all I'm doing.
It was all about Trevor and Erica. They were the only couple on the cheer squad. They were
Ah.
the hot.
I was like
gossip.
one of the only boys at first. That's why.
We had like 3 guys. Trevor being one. Like what?
How was that, Trevor?
15 women.
It was fun. I mean, because I had played sports all through high school, so and then I stopped doing sports, and I did a semester of water polo.
Uh-huh.
So I felt it was nice to actually have to do something, because if I not, I would have just
did
sat
not
there
enjoy
and
practice until midnight.
gained weight.
That was
Yeah.
my thing.
And then we didn't have a lot of time, and we had class, so like I had to want to spend time with her. I had to do something. So.
So you joined cheer. That's so romantic.
Well, it was kind of weird
I would
because
never do that
she
for
like
Celeste.
she went and like talked to the cheer coach, and then like the cheer coach was like just starting out, and they're like, well,
Is it the one?
and I went to
that
practice
was-
with her one time just so she could try it out, and then they brought me that day, her first day, they brought me on to the floor and started teaching me
Is
stuff.
it the one cheer coach?
Oh
That
yes,
was our cheer coach.
she was an evil frog lady.
She really looked like a frog.
Oh God.
She had a really
She who must
long
not be named.
nails and like blonde hair. She looked like one of those like
Acrebot and Mr. Toad. She looked like Mr. Toad.
yeah. She
Ichabod?
looked like one of those
Ichabod.
chicks that was still trying to hang on to her youth.
Oh, and it
Like,
wasn't working.
be like an-
Wasn't working.
an
Oh, but she
older
now if
rock
she listens to
chick.
the podcast, we're gonna lose a listener.
I don't think
You
she
haven't
does.
mentioned her name
No,
or
she
the
knows,
school.
She knows her, she'll know. If she ran across this podcast, she would know that we're talking
Okay.
about her.
Well.
We got her fired.
Well, now she will. What the hell?
Well, she wasn't a good coach.
Okay, we definitely lost a listener there.
That's fine.
All right.
Better
All
off for this.
right.
Actually, the gym that we practice at is just down the street.
It
That's
is,
fantastic. Yeah, I don't have that. All I have is that I worked with Trevor when he was Father Sarah at a
What-
school production.
Because she tried to teach you the TriCaster, huh?
I knew
was-
the TriCaster.
Why didn't you do it then?
I did. There were many times that I was the one directing you.
I don't remember.
I
I
know.
did that job for like 2.5. I forget that I like worked in front of a green screen for like 2.5 years.
Like, this was my life.
I was being paid to act. Hey,
That was my life.
that was my
Was that,
that
your
was
first
that was my
gig?
acting career right there. Those 2.5 years.
For kids across the country.
Yeah, I talked, and then I started doing Sir Isaac Newton as well.
Oh yeah, I helped to develop that one, and then I got fired
And then I had to take over your editing job.
because I was fired.
Why did you get fired? What did you get fired for?
I still okay. You know, there is a very there's. You want to know why I got fired?
Yeah.
You know, what, let's get
unpack
through.
this a
Let's
little
get into this. Let's do this. You know why I got fired? Because I was given all the work and no help, and was expected to do literally everything. Oh my God, that's my job currently. Anyways, literally given no help. I had classes,
Yeah.
and I was supposed to do all of the editing, and I couldn't keep up with that demand. On top of
What
that,
were they have you edit?
they would do all these different like teacher videos. They do videos with teachers
I
and
never
stuff.
had. Maybe they like scaled it back by the time I got there. Because when
Well,
I got
yeah,
there,
because it
like-
was impossible for one singular student to
Yeah.
do it all, and they would give the other guy that I worked with time off once in a while because I don't know why. He would just come and go. And I was left to do a lot of the editing. And plus, we had this crazy teacher who I sent edits to and who never got back to me, and then went on a rampage saying, I never got anything. And I'm like, I gave her all of my stuff.
Yeah.
And then I was fired.
It was an interesting job, for
and,
sure.
and then it sent me into a horrible spiral for years.
Do you remember TeleCon?
Was that the thing where you guys guys had to park cars.
No. This was a convention that our alma mater tried to have. It was
That
I think
was
it was
stupid.
streamed over the internet for everyone to see. It was pretty cool, the idea, but
They
you know,
don't-
for
No
our,
one showed up.
you know, like this, there was like 2 people in the crowd physically, and then
No one
I
online.
think there was like 1 viewer online. It was probably the person sitting in the auditorium, so they could see the back of their head.
Just
Look, I'm
trying
on
to be
TV.
nice. No, were you
I was-
part of
I-
that whole scam with the movie company?
I didn't know it was a scam.
Oh yeah, it was a hardcore scam. They got taken so hard. I felt bad about that one because there was this movie
Couple.
producer. Yeah, we're not going to mention.
They tried to
any
make them
names.
seem. They tried to feel like they were trying to be Hollywood so hard.
Yeah, they
What?
were, and they even created this award that was fake as all hell. We actually ended up meeting Fez from that 70s
Oh,
show.
We met Wilmer Valderrama. Like, wow,
Yeah.
that was so
he was
random.
such a jerk, though.
I got a picture with him.
And I think that's because that day maybe he found out he probably wasn't going to get paid or something, because I would not doubt that with these people. We were told that we were going to go and help with this.
They were trying to they did it at Hollywood High, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they told us, oh, you're going to go out, you're going to help them with production and blah, blah, blah. We get there and we're freaking parking cars.
That's where we parked cars. Yeah.
We were just standing in a fucking
Well,
parking
no, you know,
lot
I
in
didn't have
Hollywood.
to park cars. I had to because the backstage the PA guy, he needed a flashlight, so I walked from Hollywood. It was like 7 a.m. in Hollywood.
Yes.
I had walked from Hollywood High to a damn Walgreens like 3 blocks away. I had no.
I remember that.
I had to leave.
I was like, where's Trevor going?
19-year-old kid. Then there was like people like drunk hobos waking up and staring
Yeah,
at me.
this
like
was not a good area to be
Yeah.
in.
Yeah.
Like, this was Hollywood High. And if you've ever been in LA and seen where Hollywood High is, imagine watching Trevor, this nice,
And
gentle
I was like,
man.
because they made us dress up
walking
too.
through.
They made us dress up, so I was like in a little like bow
That was the
tie
worst
and-
part. They told us to dress up. And not only was it not a dress up situation, we were not doing anything that would require us to be dressed up.
We looked ridiculous.
Other than-
and I was like this dressed up kid walking through
Other than
by a
being
fucking flashlight.
other than being just there, parking people's cars who obviously were being taken for a ride. Like, that was the worst part. So I remember when we got back in the car with our boss, and they realized that they were being taken because they were like, I'm sorry about what happened. I remember them saying that because they were so disappointed, because honestly they thought they were getting like a good connection with someone from Hollywood, but what ended up happening was someone from Hollywood, which happens often, took advantage of a school that didn't know better.
Yeah.
And it was sad. It was sad.
I think they made like one movie in the 90s that
Yeah.
they were part of like one movie in the 90s.
It was a
And it was
here's
a
the
Christian
thing.
movie.
No, that was the thing.
Yeah.
It was a non-Christian movie.
They tried to like have like Christian themes.
Yes.
Right?
And
It
then
had
he was
Rufio in it.
coming out with another one because he got the rights. Yeah, it had Rufio in it. But then they were coming out with another movie that was based on the life, the short life of somebody who was killed in a mass shooting, I believe. And they never actually got the rights. They were working on getting the rights, but they had told us that they got the rights.
We had some like sort of fancy dinner too. What the hell was that?
I have no clue, but somehow they got the guy that does all of the movie trailers to show up.
Oh, that was pretty
He
cool.
was pissed. I remember seeing him, and he's like, "Yeah, I don't know what this is all about."
Yeah, like I see. Leonard was more keen to this. I was just walking around like I didn't know what was going on. I was like, okay,
Well,
go
because
here, go
I
here.
was trying to mingle.
Yeah.
That's what I was trying to do. I'm like, I may not be having the best time of my life, but at least I'm going to mingle.
That was weird.
So I tried to mingle, and everyone was upset and angry. And I'm like, what is going on here? And this was the day before the actual production, right?
Yeah, before the
Because there was a reception before,
Yeah.
and then we had the actual production the next day.
in the theater of Hollywood High. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was a weird day.
That was a weird day.
Yeah, one of mine and Leonard's adventures.
Well, hopefully we'll have more.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So I should also mention that oh, goodness gracious. Sundance has started. Or is starting tomorrow.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Gotta keep an eye out for the news.
We are going to be giving you as much Sundance news as we can on our social media. Because
Follow us.
super excited about that. Extremely excited about that, actually.
Instagram, Twitter,
How do
Facebook.
we get Sundance
How do we get Sundance? Did you just say how do we?
How do we get Sundance News?
You go to their website and you read their press
That
releases.
sounds old school.
Yes, well,
Sounds
we were
like-
not invited, so.
Rude. So rude.
But I am making it a goal that we get to go to Sundance one year.
Next year. Next year.
I don't know about next year, but
5
someday,
years. 5 years.
10 years from now.
All right, we'll start with Moondance then.
All right, Moondance.
We'll make our own.
We'll make our own, damn it. And we won't invite them.
They're not invited.
Okay.
So offended.
We'll invite the production crew from our youth that we parked cars
Try
for.
to get Rufio to come.
Yeah, Rufio and Valderrama, Wilmer
Yeah.
Valderrama.
He's too busy. He's on NCIS now.
That's true.
All
All
right.
right, everyone. Well, this has been another really long podcast. I'm
I think
sorry.
we only talked about the movie for half an hour.
Yeah, we did. So the rest of it, you know what? I'm not surprised if you're not with us anymore. I'm sorry. But you missed a fabulous story between Trevor and I. So, all right. Thank you so much for listening, if you did. And I hope you have a wonderful, whatever time of the day it is you are.
Tuning in.
Yeah. Yeah.
He got a little lost.
Different things.
Yeah, I got a little bit of Jagga in me right now.
Ooh, that sounds nice.
All right, we're ending this.
I wondered what it mind.
Anyways, we will talk to you all later and have a wonderful day.
Bye.
Bye-bye.